Captain Elara Miles stood at the helm of the HSS Tortuga, her eyes scanning the vast expanse of the Andromeda sector through the viewports. The stars stretched endlessly, a tapestry of silent witness to the brewing storm. "Status report, Lieutenant Tanaka," Elara called out, her voice steady amidst the hum of the ship's operations. Lieutenant Riko Tanaka, the ship's chief engineer and the brain behind its unique technologies, approached with a datapad in hand. "All systems are green, Captain. Quantum cloaking is on standby, and the warp disruptor is charged. However, I advise caution. The cloaking tech is still experimental." Elara nodded, her gaze never leaving the stars. "Understood. Keep it ready but hidden. We'll only play our hand when necessary." The bridge was a blend of species and technologies, a testament to humanity's role as a galactic bridge builder. To Elara's right, Threx, an Ilarian with abilities to sense emotional currents, offered a reassuring smile. "The crew trusts you, Captain." "We all do." Elara appreciated the gesture. "Let's hope that trust is well placed. Zealer's fleet has been tailing us for days, mocking our speed, or the lack thereof." Her lips twitched into a half-smile. "Let's show them what this relic can do." As if on cue, the ship's alarm blared. "Incoming vessels," announced Jiro, the communications officer, his voice tense. "Zephyrian signatures detected. They're hailing us." "On screen," Elara commanded. The view screen flickered to life, revealing the smug visage of Zealer, the young and brash Zephyrian commander. "Ah, Captain Miles, still floating, I see. We thought you might have stalled out here in the void of space." "Commander Zealer," Elara greeted with a calm she didn't feel. "To what do we owe the pleasure? Consider this an intervention, Captain. Surrender your ship, and we might spare your crew." Zealer's smirk widened. "Or continue this futile journey, and we will seize the Tortuga by force." Elara leaned forward, her voice ice-cold. "We appreciate your concern, Commander, but the Tortuga is quite capable of handling a little space travel. As for surrender, well, I'm afraid that's not in today's itinerary." Zealer scoffed. "Don't be foolish, Captain. You have no chance against my fleet. This will be your only warning." The screen went dark as the communication cut off. The bridge crew looked to Elara, awaiting orders. "Lieutenant Tanaka, initiate quantum ghost strategy. Let's make the Tortuga disappear." "Initiating now, Captain." Riko's fingers danced across the console, activating the cloaking device. A ripple passed through the ship, a shiver of light bending around them. "Now we wait," Elara said, settling into her chair. "Threx, keep your senses sharp. Tell me the moment you feel any shift in their confidence." Threx nodded, his eyes closing as he extended his senses outward. The waiting game was short-lived. Jiro's voice broke the silence. "Captain, Zephyrian ships are advancing. They seem confused." "Good," Elara replied, a predatory grin spreading across her face. "Prepare for a hit-and-run. Target their lead ship's engines. I want them to feel just how slow we can be." The Tortuga, masked by its cloaking tech, maneuvered unseen. They were a ghost ship, a specter in the vast galaxy, striking where least expected. Threx suddenly tensed. "Captain, a surge of confusion, now fear. It's working. Execute a full strike now," Elara commanded. The Tortuga revealed itself momentarily, unleashing a barrage of fire upon the lead Zephyrian ship, targeting critical systems with precision before slipping back into invisibility. The bridge erupted into controlled chaos, the crew expertly handling their stations, each member playing their part in the dance of space warfare. "Direct hit on the enemy's engines, Captain." "They're disabled," Jiro reported, a hint of disbelief in his voice. Elara didn't bat an eye. "Riko, reinitiate cloaking. Let's not overstay our welcome." As the Tortuga vanished once more, Elara allowed herself a moment of satisfaction. The Zephyrians had underestimated the humans and their ship, a mistake she was more than happy to exploit. "Keep us moving, Lieutenant. Let's not give them a chance to regroup. Threx, monitor their emotions. Any sign of retreat, you let me know immediately." Yes, Captain, they responded in unison. The HSS Tortuga, a ship once mocked for its sluggish pace, had turned its perceived weakness into its greatest strength. As Elara watched the stars blur past, a plan forming in her mind, she knew this battle was just the beginning. Humanity might have been slow to start in the cosmic race, but they were no less formidable. And under her command, the Tortuga was not just surviving, it was striking fear into the hearts of those who dared mock it. The bridge of the HSS Tortuga was alive with a low, thrumming energy as Captain Elara Miles paced slowly before her crew, each member ready at their station, their eyes occasionally flicking to their captain for direction. Elara stopped, turning to face the main view screen, where the star-speckled black of space awaited their next move. Lieutenant Tanaka, report, Elara called out, her voice steady, commanding the room. Riko Tanaka, adjusting a dial on his console, glanced up. Quantum cloaking holding steady. We're invisible to sensors, but remember, every use drains our power reserves significantly. Elara nodded sharply. Understood. We'll use it sparingly. Keep monitoring our energy levels. Turning her attention to the tactical display, Elara tapped the screen, bringing up the positions of the Zephyrian ships. Their formation was scattered, a sign of their confusion and the disruption caused by the Tortuga's unexpected assault. Communications, any chatter from the Zephyrians? Elara inquired, her gaze not leaving the tactical display. Jiro, the communications officer, adjusted his headset, listening intently before responding. There's a lot of confusion, Captain. They're trying to regroup, but the hit and run left them rattled. They weren't prepared for our cloaking capabilities. Elara's lips curled into a small, satisfied smile. Good. Let's keep them on their toes. Prepare for another strike. Target the nearest cruiser this time. Aim for their communications array. I want them blind and deaf. As the crew readied the ship for another assault, Threx, their Illyrian navigator, spoke up, his voice calm yet carrying an undercurrent of excitement. Captain, I sense a shift. Their commander is frustrated, emotions high. This could lead to rash decisions. Exactly what we're hoping for, Elara affirmed, turning to look at her crew, her expression one of fierce determination. We strike now, while they're disorganized. All hands brace for engagement. The Tortuga slipped out of its cloak, momentarily visible as its cannons fired in synchronized bursts. The beams of energy cut through the void, striking the Zephyrian cruiser with precision. As quickly as it had appeared, the Tortuga vanished once more into the cloak of invisibility. Direct hit on their communications array, reported Jiro, his voice tinged with adrenaline. They're unable to send or receive signals effectively. Elara didn't waste a moment. Riko, status on our energy? Riko's eyes were fixed on his readings. We can manage one more cloaked maneuver, Captain. After that, we'll need to recharge, which will leave us exposed. Acknowledging the risk, Elara weighed her options. Threx, keep a sharp sense on their commander. The moment you feel a significant drop in their resolve, let me know. Threx nodded, his focus deepening, reaching out with his mind to feel the emotional currents of their adversaries. Minutes passed like hours on the bridge of the Tortuga as the crew waited in silent anticipation. Then, Threx's eyes snapped open, a surge of energy passing through him. Captain, the Zephyrian commander is uncertain, his resolve weakening. Confusion and fear are taking hold. That's our cue, Elara decided swiftly. We won't get a better chance. Prepare for a full frontal assault. Target their flagship. It's time to end this. The crew sprang into action, the energy on the bridge shifting as they prepared for what could be the final confrontation. The Tortuga powered down its cloaking, conserving the last of its energy for a decisive strike. Elara stood firm, her eyes on the screen as the flagship loomed into view. Fire all cannons, full power! Target their engines and weapons systems. The Tortuga unleashed its fury, cannons roaring as they delivered a crippling blow to the Zephyrian flagship. Without its engines, the massive ship drifted helplessly, its weapons systems disabled by the precise strikes. Victory is ours, Captain, Jiro announced, relief and triumph evident in his voice. Elara allowed herself a moment of pride, then her expression softened as she addressed her crew. Well done, everyone. But stay alert. We'll secure the area and assess our situation. We're not out of the woods yet. As the crew busied themselves with post-battle tasks, Elara turned to Rico. Start recharging the cloaking device. We'll need every advantage we can get. Rico nodded, already on the task. Recharging now, Captain. We'll be ready for whatever comes next. The bridge settled into a new rhythm. The immediate threat subsided, leaving space for cautious optimism. Elara Miles looked out into the vastness of space, her ship and crew having proven once again that underestimating humanity, and the HSS Tortuga, was a grave mistake. As the Tortuga floated silently among the stars, Captain Elara Miles surveyed her bridge crew with a keen eye. They had just delivered a significant blow to the Zephyrian flagship, rendering it powerless and adrift. The atmosphere on the bridge was one of subdued triumph, tinged with the fatigue of sustained tension. Great work, team. Let's not get complacent. Lieutenant Tanaka, how long until the cloaking device is fully operational again? Elara asked, her voice calm yet commanding. Rico Tanaka, still intently monitoring his consoles, replied without looking up. We're looking at about 20 minutes for a full charge, Captain. I'd recommend we stay on the defensive until then. Agreed. Jiro, send out a wideband passive scan. I want to know if there are any more surprises waiting for us out there. Elara ordered, turning her attention to the communications officer. Jiro nodded, his fingers flying over his controls. Scanning now, Captain. It should only take a few moments. Elara's gaze then shifted to Threx, who had been her emotional barometer throughout the encounter. Threx, how are the Zephyrians feeling? Is there any shift in their morale we can exploit? Threx closed his eyes, reaching out with his senses. There's chaos, Captain. Fear and disbelief predominate. The crew of their flagship is particularly demoralized, not understanding how their superior technology could fail so spectacularly. Good. We'll use that. Keep me posted on any changes, Elara said, a plan clearly forming in her mind. As the crew worked, the silence was suddenly broken by an alert from Jiro's station. Captain, I've picked up a distress signal. It's weak, but it's definitely there. It seems to be coming from a small civilian vessel not far from our current position. Elara frowned, her strategic mind weighing the options. Can we afford to investigate? Rico chimed in. It could be a trap, Captain. But if it's a genuine distress call, ignoring it could cost lives. Elara nodded thoughtfully. Prepare a response team, but keep our guard up. We'll approach cautiously. Threx, you and Jiro are with me. Rico, you have the bridge. Maintain stealth as long as you can. As Elara led the small team to the hangar bay where a shuttle awaited, the weight of command never felt heavier on her shoulders. They boarded the shuttle, and soon they were navigating toward the source of the distress signal. Inside the shuttle, the tension was palpable. Threx spoke up, his voice steady. I sense genuine distress, Captain. No deception. It seems a family is aboard that vessel, aliens, not Zephyrians, caught in the crossfire. Elara's resolve hardened. No one gets left behind, not on my watch. Let's get them out of there. Approaching the civilian vessel, they could see the damage was severe. It was a miracle the ship was still intact. Elara piloted the shuttle close, and they initiated a docking sequence. Once aboard the damaged vessel, they found a family of Rigelians, 2 adults and 3 children, huddled in the main cabin, their faces marked with relief at the sight of the rescue team. We thought we were gone, the Rigelian father said, his voice shaky. Thank you for hearing our call. Elara nodded, helping the family aboard the shuttle. We're taking you back to the Tortuga. You'll be safe there. As they returned to the Tortuga, Elara felt a rare moment of peace amidst the chaos of space warfare. They had turned the tide against the Zephyrians, saved a family, and upheld the values she held dear. Back on the bridge, Rico greeted them with a smile. Cloaking is fully operational again, Captain. And it seems our actions have caused some of the Zephyrian ships to retreat. Then let's prepare to move out, Elara declared. Set a course for the nearest friendly port. It's time to bring everyone home. As the Tortuga resumed its journey, Elara looked out into the stars, her crew beside her, the Rigelian family safe. In the cold vastness of space, the warmth of human compassion had made all the difference, reinforcing the essence of what it meant to be part of humanity. The Tortuga, once mocked for its slowness, had proven itself fast enough to strike fear, save lives, and secure a little more peace in the galaxy. Elara Miles felt a mixture of relief and weariness as she stepped back onto the bridge of the HSS Tortuga after ensuring the Rigelian family was settled in. The bridge was buzzing with a controlled energy, indicative of a crew that had just navigated through danger and emerged stronger. Captain, the Zephyrian fleet is regrouping. They appear to be retreating from the sector, Jiro reported, his eyes glued to the sensor readings. That's good news, Elara responded, taking her place at the command console. Let's not overextend ourselves. Prepare to pull back to a safer zone and assess our status. I want a full damage report and an inventory of all our resources. Rico nodded and turned to his console to coordinate with the engineering teams. I'll have that for you shortly, Captain. Initial scans show minimal damage, thanks to our stealth maneuvers, but our energy reserves took a hit. Elara's thoughts were momentarily interrupted by a private comm from Threx. Captain, I'm feeling a shift. The Zephyrian commander's emotions, they're not just retreating out of defeat. There's something else. Elara focused on Threx, her strategic mind ticking over. Define something else, Threx. What are you sensing? It's like a recalibration, not just retreat. He's planning something, a re-strategy perhaps. Caution would be wise. Elara considered this. Keep monitoring that, Threx. Let me know of any changes. We need to be ahead of whatever they're planning. Turning her attention back to the crew, Elara spoke with authority. We've done well so far, but this isn't over yet. I want everyone on high alert until we're clear of any potential threats. As the crew acknowledged her orders, Elara's communicator beeped, an incoming message from the Zephyrian commander Zealer. She signaled to Jiro to put it through. Zealer's face appeared on the screen, his expression one of grudging respect. Captain Miles, I underestimated you and your ship. You've won this encounter, but the war is far from over. Elara studied him carefully. Commander Zealer, war doesn't always have to be the answer. There's much to be gained from peace and understanding. Zealer scoffed, though his eyes showed a flicker of doubt. Perhaps. We shall see. For now we withdraw. But this isn't the last you've seen of us. As the screen went dark, Elara turned back to her crew. Let's not rely on his word alone. Continue to our next objective, but keep our defenses up and our sensors sharp. We're playing a long game here. As Rico provided the requested reports, Elara reviewed them, planning their next moves. Rico, how soon can we be fully operational? We'll need some time to recharge and repair, but we should be back at full capacity within a few hours, Rico replied. Make it happen. And keep an eye on our energy consumption. I don't want any surprises, Elara instructed, her mind already on the potential challenges ahead. The bridge crew worked with efficiency, each member performing their role with the precision that had seen them through the battle. As they maneuvered the Tortuga toward safer space, Elara felt a momentary ease. They had survived, but more importantly, they had protected innocent lives and demonstrated the strength and cunning that humanity could bring to the stars. Captain, we are now entering friendly space. No Zephyrian ships in pursuit, Jiro finally announced. Good. Set a course for the nearest Allied station. It's time we got some rest and regrouped, Elara said, allowing herself a brief smile. The tension eased on the bridge as the crew looked forward to a respite, however short. As the Tortuga sailed through space, its engines humming softly in the background, Elara stood at the viewport, looking out at the stars. They were safe for now, but the galaxy was a vast and complicated place. She knew challenges lay ahead, but she also knew her crew, her ship, and humanity itself were ready for whatever came next. With resolve and a readiness to face the future, Captain Elara Miles was certain of one thing: they were not just survivors, they were protectors, pioneers, and peacemakers. She turned away from the stars, ready to prepare her crew for the next chapter, whatever it might bring. Elara stood with her arms crossed, eyes locked on the holographic display that flickered above the command table. The retreat of the Zephyrian fleet wasn't sitting right with her. Sealer wasn't the kind of commander to simply accept defeat. He had withdrawn, yes, but Threx had felt something else, an intention lingering beneath the surface of their supposed surrender. "Rico, what's our energy status?" she asked, voice even but firm. Rico checked his console. "We're back to 70%. Cloaking is stable, and weapon systems are fully operational. If they try anything, we can handle it." Elara exhaled slowly. "Jiro, any movement from the Zephyrians?" Jiro adjusted the long-range scanners. "Nothing on immediate sensors, but wait." He tapped a few more controls, his expression tightening. "There's a faint signal, something intermittent, barely registering. It's not one of ours." Elara straightened. "They left something behind." Threx's eyes closed as he reached out. "It's small. A probe. Not just surveillance, there's intent behind it. It's waiting." "Waiting for what?" Elara asked, already knowing the answer. Threx's voice was quiet. "A signal." Elara's mind worked quickly. "Rico, can you jam it?" "Already on it, Captain," Rico responded, fingers flying across his console. "We can disrupt its transmissions, but if it's already relayed anything..." Elara didn't let him finish. "Then we assume it has. This wasn't just a withdrawal. It was bait. They knew we'd detect the probe. They wanted us to think they were gone while they repositioned." Jiro's console lit up with an alert. "Captain, multiple signatures coming back onto our scopes. Zephyrian warships. 4, no, 6. They were waiting just outside our range." Elara's jaw tightened. "So much for their retreat." Rico cursed under his breath. "I should have known they were playing us." Elara turned to her crew, eyes scanning the room. "Doesn't matter. We expected this. We control the battlefield. Jiro, keep an open channel but don't respond unless I say so. Threx, keep monitoring their emotions. I want to know the second they make a mistake." Jiro's console beeped. "They're hailing us." Elara nodded. "Put them through." Sealer's face reappeared, smugness radiating through the transmission. "Captain Miles, I should have known you'd sniff out our little gift. But tell me, did you really think we were just going to leave?" Elara's expression remained neutral. "Considering how easily we disabled your flagship, I thought you might have learned a lesson about overconfidence." Sealer smirked. "Confidence isn't the issue, Captain. Adaptation is. We've studied your tactics. Your little ghost tricks won't work this time. We've calibrated our sensors to detect the distortions your cloaking field creates. You can't hide anymore." Elara didn't react. She glanced at Rico, who was already working, scanning for weaknesses. Sealer continued. "This time, there's no escape. Surrender now, and I'll see to it your crew is treated well. Refuse, and I will personally watch your ship burn." Elara tilted her head slightly, as if considering his offer. Then she smiled. "Commander, if you had really figured us out, you wouldn't be talking. You'd be firing." Sealer's expression faltered for half a second. "Just enough." Elara turned to Rico. "Now." The Tortuga's engines roared to life, but instead of cloaking, the ship launched forward at an angle, spiraling directly into the enemy formation. The Zephyrian ships, expecting a stealth retreat, hesitated for a crucial moment. Rico barked updates. "They're adjusting their formations, too late." Elara pointed to the tactical display. "Threx, are they panicking?" Threx nodded. "Not panic, but uncertainty. They expected deception, not a direct charge." Elara seized the moment. "Fire at will. Target their lead ship's thrusters, disable it." The Tortuga unleashed a barrage of concentrated fire. The Zephyrian lead ship shuddered as its thrusters flickered, then died. It drifted helplessly. Zealer's face darkened on the screen. A desperate move, Captain? But not enough. Alara raised an eyebrow. Who said we were done? Behind the Tortuga, concealed by an electromagnetic flare, several smaller Allied ships emerged, their weapons primed. They had been hiding in the debris field, waiting for this exact moment. Rico grinned. They never saw them coming. Alara crossed her arms. Now, Commander, I believe it's your turn to surrender. Zealer's jaw clenched. He looked off-screen, likely receiving reports of his fleet's compromised status. His hesitation was the final confirmation Alara needed. Jiro glanced at her. He's stalling. Alara gave a slow nod. Zealer, you have two choices: retreat for real this time, or watch as we dismantle your fleet, ship by ship. Zealer exhaled sharply. You won this round, Miles. But we will meet again. The transmission cut off. Within seconds, the remaining Zephyrian ships powered down their weapons and activated retreat protocols. One by one, they jumped out of the system. Jiro let out a breath he hadn't realized he was holding. They're gone. Rico leaned back in his chair. And we're still here. Threx, sensing the bridge's shift in emotion, allowed himself a small smile. Captain, I think we've made our point. Alara exhaled slowly, looking out at the empty space where the Zephyrians had been. We did more than that, Threx. We reminded them exactly who they're dealing with. The bridge crew erupted in quiet cheers, the tension giving way to relief. Alara straightened, her composure returning. Good work, everyone. But let's not celebrate too soon. Jiro, make sure our allies are accounted for. Rico, get a full systems check. Threx, let me know if you feel any residual Zephyrian presence. As the crew jumped into action, Alara allowed herself a moment to reflect. They had been outnumbered, outgunned, and expected to fail. Yet here they stood, victorious. The Tortuga was slow, outdated by enemy standards. But speed wasn't everything. Strategy, adaptability, and the unwavering spirit of her crew had turned the tide once again. She smiled to herself, looking at the vastness of space beyond. Let them mock. They had just learned, once again, why humanity should never be underestimated.